In this part of the program, we'll look at the proper techniques for safetying on and off while working on the pole, two methods of adjusting the safety strap while climbing, and the basic techniques for maneuvering around the pole. You've already learned how the safety strap is stored on the belt and how it is fastened to the D-rings for climbing. What we need to look at now are the techniques for attaching the safety strap while working on a pole. This is generally described as safetying on and safetying off. While the techniques are not difficult to master, there are some basic points that you do need to understand in order to do them safely. Once in position with one leg locked, you would support yourself with right hand and reach down and unfasten one end of the safety strap with your left hand. The safety is passed around the pole and transferred from the left hand to the right hand. This puts the safety snap in an easy position to fasten into the D-ring and ensures that the safety strap doesn't get twisted. It also ensures that the safety snaps are attached to the D-ring with their keepers facing out. You reverse the procedure for safetying off. First, support your position with your left hand and reach down and unhook the safety snap with your right hand. Then pass the strap around the pole. Finally, fasten the safety snap to the D-ring with the keeper facing in. Let's watch Jeff try it. First, he supports himself in a position with his right hand, while at the same time reaching down with the left hand and unfastening the end of the safety strap from his D-ring. Next, he passes the safety strap around the pole to his right hand, remembering to take the end of the strap in the right hand, as Bo demonstrated. This puts the safety snap in the proper position for fastening into the D-ring. You reverse the process for safetying off. Support yourself with the left hand and unfasten the safety snap with the right hand. Pass the strap around the pole and using the right hand for support, fasten the snap to the D-ring with the keeper facing in. Once you've practiced this procedure on the ground, next try it while supporting yourself on the pole. Once you're sure of all the steps and feel confident, try it a few feet off the ground. One thing that you should always do while safetying on is to always look at the safety snap and the D-ring to make sure that it's properly secured before letting go of the pole. It is possible to hook the safety snap on tools or equipment attached to the belt and not the D-ring. Letting go of the pole before first verifying that you're properly safetied into position could be disastrous. So always visually verify where your safety snap is attached. Another technique that you need to learn for climbing is how to adjust the length of your safety strap while supporting yourself on the pole. As you probably know, many utility poles are larger near the base than they are near the top. So a safety strap adjustment properly at the base of a pole may be too long to work comfortably near the top of a pole. Let's watch Jeff demonstrate two methods for adjusting the length of the safety strap. The first method is very similar to the process of safetying on and off. It involves supporting yourself on the pole with one hand and adjusting the lengths of the safety strap with the other hand. After safetying on, Jeff holds his position with his right arm. This allows him to hold the safety strap with his right hand. He then uses his left hand to unfasten the buckle on the strap and either lengthen it or shorten it. When the new length is found, Jeff fastens the buckle and eases himself into the position, after first visually verifying that the safety snaps are connected to the D-rings. Another technique is particularly useful for very large poles, where it's difficult or impossible to reach around it with your arms. With this method, Jeff reaches across the safety strap with his right arm and supports himself in position by grasping the left side of the strap. This puts slack in the adjustment end of the strap, and he uses his left hand to unbuckle the strap and readjust its length. Jeff is now in a better position for working on the pole. Being able to confidently adjust your equipment while maintaining your position and balance on the pole is important for developing the proper mental attitude for climbing. It assures you that regardless of how conditions might change, you can readjust your gear and your position to support yourself safely. Learning to safety on and off and to adjust the length of your safety strap are very important aspects of climbing. These techniques ensure that you can always be in the right position for safely working on a pole. Up to this point, most of our discussion has been focused on ascending, descending, or staying in one place on a pole. However, the whole purpose of climbing is to allow you to work on equipment and components that are found on poles. To do this, we need to know how to maneuver safely from one place to another. The technique for maneuvering around the pole is really very simple. However, many new climbers will do almost anything to keep from having to use it when they're high up on a pole. The reason is simply that they haven't gained the confidence and proper mental attitude to feel comfortable moving around off the ground. For this reason, it's best to first practice this technique close to the ground until it can be done naturally and comfortably. We'll let Bo demonstrate the technique first. After safetying on, Bo positions himself with one leg higher than the other. Since he'll be moving to his right, the left leg is high. Notice the right leg is straight and the knee is locked. His hands are positioned just in front of his D-rings. To maneuver, he steps up on his left leg and moves his right leg several inches before stepping out. By repeating this procedure, Bo can work his way around the pole. He simply reverses the positions of his legs and repeats the maneuver. Notice that he remains at about the same level on the pole throughout. This is very important, especially when working under cross-armed and other pieces of equipment. Now, let's watch Jeff try. One of the keys to mastering this technique is to keep your feet at different levels at all times. Typically, new climbers get their feet too close together. This causes them to stop and readjust their position before continuing. Jeff doesn't seem to have too much trouble keeping his feet at different levels. However, because he doesn't really have complete control over his equipment, he tends to move higher on the pole with each step. With practice, he'll master this technique. As we indicated earlier, the purpose of climbing is to be able to work on equipment and components on a pole. However, you won't feel comfortable doing this until you've perfected the techniques we've discussed so far. In the part of this program, we'll look at some jobs typically performed by new climbers and discuss how to go about planning a climb when you're on the job. Before we go on, let's review the highlights of the techniques we've discussed so far. We stated that in free climbing, it's important to move the same arm and the same leg up or down at the same time. We said that with belted climbing, developing a rhythmic pattern will allow you to climb smoothly and safely. You've also learned that gaffs should be positioned on the pole by angling the legs slightly and then stepping down, letting your weight drive the gaff into the pole. By not angling the leg, you make climbing difficult and risk cutting out because your knees and body are too close to the pole. To maintain proper positioning and ensure that your gaffs are cutting into the pole, you should keep one leg straight with the knee locked at all times. Bending both legs is tiring and unsafe because your arms must support part of your weight and your gaffs are not at the proper angle to support you. When working with a safety strap, the strap should be positioned either parallel to or slightly higher than your D-rings, and your body belt should be resting on your hips. If the safety strap is at too high an angle or the body belt is too high on the waist, you won't be comfortable and your equipment cannot support you properly. Finally, when maneuvering around the pole, keep one leg slightly higher than the other and step up and step down to work your way into position. Take some time now to read over the material in your text and answer the questions. Be sure to clear up any questions you might have with your instructor before going on.